I'm listening to my cat eating his food, her food, and it's 7:36. I just got back home from working, and the first thing I came back home to do was to light the Hanukkah, the lights of the Hanukkah menorah, the Hanukkah, and I was gonna just do the normal Hanukkah that I have. That was a gift actually from a very wonderful organization, Ura, that helps us a lot with the tuition of our children's school of Lian and Anibel. Anibel is in New York and Liel is in yeshiva in Jerusalem. Well, he's on vacation, but he's still in Jerusalem. And he's Lux. Here's Lux, our little female cat. So I was gonna light the candles, and I was just gonna keep it normal. I was just gonna keep it traditional. Just the blessings and a little bit of thinking and a little bit of reading and a little bit of singing and dancing and whatever. I'm by myself at home because I had to come back to Lake Isabella to work. Aneta's in Mexico enjoying Ensenada. And I'm very happy that she's there and she's learning Spanish and she's doing what she's doing. I'm here to take care of Lux and to work and to finish some projects that I have to finish before I'm able to move anywhere. But anyway, I was lighting the Hanukkah, which is already halfway through. And then I started to think about things, and I started to get pensive, and I started to get a little sentimental even. Because every time a Jewish holiday happens, I always think of how I enjoy the Jewish holidays and how I enjoy partaking of the joy of these dates and these events. But at the same time, I feel bad for the people that get caught off before their time is due. Hashem tells us that a man should live to 70 years or to 80 years if with strength. And very often, in times like this, in times of trial and tribulation, in times of terror and war, many people get caught off early, way too early. We've all heard of the massacres that have occurred from the first day of Hanukkah. On the first day of Hanukkah, a young girl of 10 years old died in one of those massacres in Sydney, Australia. Events that should not happen. I mourn for the people that died. I mourn for everybody. I mourn for the rabbi who died, who happens to be the brother of a rabbi whom I know. And he happens to be the son-in-law of another rabbi whom I know and whom I love personally because of things that mitzvot that they have done for for us, for myself, for my wife, for my children. The mitzvahs that they have done for us are innumerable, and the pain is insufferable, and it's pain that shouldn't happen. But then you think about the children, and that just becomes worse. A war is ugly. A war is not anything glamorous. A war is something that shouldn't have to happen. But when war is brought upon you, the only response sometimes is war. And horrific things happen during war, and I understand that. But when the war is brought out of the theater of war and it's brought into the streets of the world, it just becomes senseless, and it becomes more painful, and it becomes idiotic and animalistic. And that is without the least desire to offend animals, because animals kill in self-defense and for self-preservation. Very often Us humans, we kill ourselves and kill each other, rather, for none of those reasons, but, be it for the color of our skin, be it for the religion that we practice, be it for whatever the other reason. But the message is lost in the horrific actions that we take against each other. And it's things that shouldn't be. So as I was lighting the candles of my Hanukkah today, I decided to do a little something, a little memorial to the souls of those who will no longer be able to light a candle for themselves, not one. And I know they have family members, and I know they have millions, if not billions, of people who can light candles for them. But here's where it gets really hard for me. When October 7th happened, I was in Israel. I was in Tzfat. And I don't want to start crying here in the camera, because I always do. But I had to say bye to a friend of mine, and God forbid, should anything happen to him ever. May he live to 120. But he was a young guy, 19 years old, and he had to join his unit. We were celebrating Shabbos, and we were celebrating, our holidays, and we were celebrating Simchas Torah. And October 7th happened. And he had to go. He had to do what he had to do. He asked me, should I break Shabbos? Should I break the Chag? And I said, don't ask me. I'm no one to tell you what to do. You have a duty to your country, and you have a duty to your God, and you have a duty to yourself. You will do what you must do. What Hashem tells you to do, that's what you should do. And he took up his bag, and we hugged, and he left. Baruch Hashem, he's still alive. Baruch Hashem, he's still well. But many are not. Many innocent people are not. And by innocent, I mean both sides. Because an Israeli life is as valuable as a Palestinian, so-called Palestinian life, as any other life. Life is precious, period. This is what the sages tell us. This is what the Torah tells us. Life is precious. And we should seek life. And we should seek light. But when the darkness gets so dark, what else do we have but to fight darkness with darkness sometimes? The Jewish people, we light candles, and we say to each other all the time, a little light dispels a lot of darkness. I'd be lying if I told you that I knew exactly who said that first, but it doesn't matter, I think, who said it first. What matters is that we perpetuate that feeling. And we perpetuate that feeling with the Festival of Lights, with the lighting of the Hanukkah, the candles of the Hanukkah for Hanukkah, the celebration of Hanukkah. And so, as my shamash has already turned off, I will show you my little Hanukkah over here. It's a simple Hanukkah, nothing pretentious, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. But all little 8 candles, except my shamash, because of course it's already burned out. But all of them are lit up in celebration of the holiday that we're celebrating, correct? In observance of the holiday. However, here's my breaking with tradition, if you will. Not only did I light this menorah for myself, in order for me to fulfill the mitzvah, the commandment to light these candles for Hanukkah, right? But I took this savage liberty to create a memorial Hanukkah over here with my wife's Shabbos little candle recipients. This little glass little vases. This is where my wife lights up her Shabbos candles. But I decided to make a Hanukkah of memorial candles. These are the type of little candles that you light for the memory of someone who departed. And each one of these lights, to me, represents life. Life that has been gifted to us in the form of a child, in the form of an adult, in the form of an old person, in the form of life, in the form of even the poor animals who were killed during October 7th, during the Bondi Beach attack, the Manchester attack, and all the attacks that the Jewish people have been victimized with over the last couple years. All the television attacks, all the attacks of any and every sort that we have been victimized with. And of yet, the ones that are coming, because I don't think it's over until it's over. But in as much as that might be a tragedy, and in as much as we can say, oh, pity us that we suffer, pity us that we pain, that pity us that we are given rocks rather than flowers. The idea still stands. A little light dispels a lot of darkness. And each one of these candles is a memorial to each one of those victims. And if I really wanted to honor each one of those victims, imagine I would set my house afire with so many candles, so many Hanukkot, right? I would have to light dozens and dozens of Hanukkot here at my house just to memorialize each person who has departed between October 7th and now. And even before October 7th, it didn't, as the Palestinians like to say, it didn't start on October 7th. It really didn't start on October 7th. You know, we can take it back thousands of years. If we lit a candle for every person who has been massacred senselessly, there is not enough candles in an entire factory production, probably in a single day or 2 days or 3 days or 10 days. I don't know how many million candles they build, they make a day. But we would have to take a few factories full of candles to memorialize the victims of the Holocaust, the victims of every pogrom that has been perpetrated against the Jewish people, the victims of every war that has been fought in after the creation of the modern state of Israel. If we were to memorialize the lives and the deaths of the hundreds of thousands of people who have died, the millions of people who have died, the gazillions of people who have died. And I would like to memorialize also the victims, the innocent victims, the bystanding victims of the senselessness, including the Palestinian victims, including every other victim, like all the other peoples who were killed during the Holocaust, during the Nazi Holocaust, because it was not just the Jews. 30 million Russians died in war, and many more died of starvation and everything. France, England, Germany itself, the very many bystanders who perished in the senselessness of somebody's war, of somebody's idea of a good time. I think I'm going to exterminate the Jews. Well, let me tell you one thing, the day is yet to come when the Jews will be exterminated. I'm not going to sit and wait. So many people have tried it, and yet the Jew is still here. The Jew is still around. And so many people will probably try, sadly enough, because nobody seems to learn any lessons nowadays. Somebody said, and once again, I'll be lying if I tell you exactly if I tell you that I know exactly who said it. But it's senseless. It's senseless. And believe me, I would like to say many things that I prefer to bite my tongue and forget the complaints. I'm not unhappy at this moment. I'm not unhappy. I'm very happy. I'm rejoicing in the mitzvah of the lights. Because I understand deep inside of me, above anything that I have said, I understand within me that this light it's within each one of us. Jew, Gentile, whoever, a mother, a father, a child, a grandson, a granddaughter, a grandfather, and a mother. Each person of each walk of life has light within them. Will you let your own light shine? That's my question. I think that's the question that we should just ask. Will you let your own light shine? Or will you choose to live in darkness? Now, you don't have to agree with what I think. You can shout at the top of your lungs, free Palestine, free whoever you want. And I'll support you. But I will ask you, what do you want to free people from? Do you want to free people from other people? We are built, I think, from war. I don't think there's a single country, perhaps, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's a single country that has ever existed, without a war, either internal, external, or of any type. A civil war, a revolutionary war, a liberation war, whatever you want to call it. But when the Jewish people got their place, got their own country, the world turned upside down. And it's still upside down. And it will continue to be upside down for I don't know how long. I really have no idea how long the world is going to be upside down the way it is right now. Bent out of shape over the people's right to their own existence. Everybody will say like, oh, they're colonialists, they're this and that. I invite you, if you're one of those people that thinks that the Jewish people are colonialists and things of any sort like that, I invite you to look at history, and I'd invite you to pick up a book before you shout out at the four winds, colonialism, apartheid, and all these trendy words of today. I have never spoken since October 7th happened, but to my wife. And I told my wife very clearly that right after October 7th, as I said goodbye to my friend, and as I went back to celebrating the holiday that we were partaking of, as it is a duty to partake of the holidays, no matter what. When the holiday is happening, or when Shabbat, like when the Sabbath is happening, it is your duty to partake of it and to celebrate it. The Sabbath is the Sabbath. And no matter what happens, you must honor the Sabbath and keep it holy. And that was my duty, and I did my duty that day. I went back to celebrating, and I went back to being at the synagogue with the rest of the Yidden there. And we were happy. We were genuinely happy. But I know that in as much as I was happy, something broke inside of me. Something actually broke inside of me. And to this day, I think it hasn't healed. I think it hasn't been repaired. I don't know that it will be repaired today or tomorrow or the day after. And this video and this little Hanukkah of memorial candles is my little attempt at healing myself. I'm alone at home, like I said before, because I came back home to work and to do things that I must do in order for me to move on to a next stage that I want to do. So I built this little memorial, to try and heal myself. I'm at the verge of tears right now. Based on my own words and my own recollection of things. And when I think of myself as a broken person, which is what I think I am now, right now, it takes me out of the control that I have for myself. And it's not out of weakness, but it's out of an attempt to self-understand, an attempt at self-understanding, at self-healing, at self-reparation. I owe myself the time to cry, and I owe myself the time to heal and the time to speak about how I feel since October 7th. And I don't think I can succeed truly and fully because I keep suppressing things. And it's not that I have a reason to do it. I can speak freely to whomever I want. And I have attempted it, actually. Last time I spoke about it at the synagogue, I broke into tears, and the same thing, you know, like it just happens to me. But I think this is helping me, you know, just like being here with these little candles and partaking of the little glow, partaking of the little bit of warmth, psychological warmth, as it may be. B'ezrat Hashem, it will make me heal. Light heals. Period. Internal light. And now an external light kindles an internal light. Kindling these little lights, I was thinking to myself, you know, I should do a video. I should do a live video as a therapeutic, part of my therapeutic process. And that's why I started this video. I thought to myself, maybe I should speak in Spanish because, you know, my family speaks Spanish. And then I said to myself, no, I should speak in English. And then I tried to go online and I couldn't. And then in frustration, seeing the candlesticks growing shorter and everything, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to turn this thing on and I'm just going to start speaking. And this is what I'm doing. With like, once again, what purpose? Not any purpose whatsoever. But with all the purpose in the world at the same time. Like I said, it's just self-healing. It's therapeutic for myself. It's self-preservation, if nothing else. One should always strive for self-preservation and self-love. I'm a self-loving person, that's for sure. I'm a very positive person, that's for sure. And I try to put a very strong front, that's for sure. And I succeed at it quite often, that's for sure. But sometimes I also need a little bit of not a pat in the back. I didn't succeed at anything necessarily, you know. I didn't survive as a huge catastrophe of any sort, you know. I simply was there. I went from the Ukraine, which was a war zone, to Israel, which was another war zone at the time. And I wasn't afraid. It's not that I was afraid. I was more worried about my wife being here in the States and worried about me. But even then, in that worry, there was already a broken person within me. And once again, if you ask me what broke inside of you, I don't know how to tell you this. I think, in a way, let's say one of the most common phrases that are thrown around when it comes to, like, what the feeling that I have inside my head, you know, like one of the most common ways of explaining things is people tend to say, I lost hope in humanity. I didn't lose hope in humanity, but that's how it feels in many ways. I don't like to watch videos on YouTube, let's say, you know, I'll take that back. I love it. Most of the time I do it for entertainment. I love to look at, you know, cats trying to jump and, you know, skipping and sliding and crashing into the wall. Funny cat videos, funny dog videos, I love them. I love a good comedy show. And I like to watch YouTube for that. But inevitably, because I also listen to Jewish music, and because I also listen to rabbis speak, and because I also partake of the Jewish content online, I end up watching these videos on the Palestinian and Israeli conflicts. and I end up, like having to absorb many of these negative things, and I'm not unaware of the things that are happening in the world once again, such as Bondi Beach, which seems to be like the latest and greatest, let's say, tragedy. Although there's already been at least a couple other terror attacks. Anyhow, I don't know. It's just, the senselessness of it all. It consumes me. And once again, I didn't lose hope in humanity. I just think humanity lost hope in itself or something. I don't know. I really don't know how to pinpoint it. I could start telling you. I can start naming names and saying like, well, this guy's an idiot, that guy's an idiot, the next person is an idiot. It's not about that. Nobody's an idiot. We hear the phrase helpful idiots, referring to the people who support terrorist groups that would murder them, such as the LGBTQ people supporting Hamas and all these things. Being that Hamas would throw them off buildings, literally. Like literally, they would throw gay people off buildings. But yet you have all this LGBTQ for Palestine, let's just say. I don't know if they say really for Hamas, but many of them were interviewed, at least, in some interviews that I saw at any given time, and they were in support of Hamas. Not knowing that they themselves would be the first victims. They would probably, oversee me just to throw one of those guys off a building. But anyway, I'm not trying to make a political statement, and I'm not trying to do any of that. If you support Hamas, by all means. If you support Palestine, by all means, support whoever you want. Do whatever you want. But be conscious of it. I think, and once again, it's not a political statement, and I'm not saying that people are stupid or anything, It's just, Forrest Gump said, stupid is as stupid does, right? I think in many ways that's kind of like the way I feel, stupid is as stupid does. Why? Because all of a sudden, like people have patented stupidity for the sake of being stupid. Pardon my French. But I think that's what's happening. It's like all of a sudden, people woke up in the morning and they said, I think I'm just going to be dumb. So no, it's not that I'm losing faith in humanity. It's just as humanity seems to have lost faith in itself. I think we're living in a time when people are hurting for themselves without the slightest idea of how to self-heal. I think we are surrounded, and we are surrounding ourselves with people who are in pain for whatever reason. And like it's happened many times, they start looking for scapegoats. And they start looking to see who they can blame for their own shortcomings or their own pains or whatever it is that is bothering them. And it's very easy to point at the little guy, if you will. Or not even the little guy, but the other. And since the Jew has been the other traditionally or typically, I think that's what continues to happen. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know. Anyway, I'm just ranting and raving right now. I'm just like, once again, I'm on my soapbox in a way. And it's not about that. It's about Hanukkah. And it's about celebrating, once again, life represented in light and light represented in life, as it should be, rather than pain, rather than suffering, rather than anything of that sort. We should rejoice, in the joy of light, and the life that light brings, and the life that the light brings, and the light that life brings. Or however, I don't even know what I'm saying, but you understand me. It's just, We need to be positive. We need to laugh, and we need to sing, and we need to rejoice, and we need to say, next year, even though it's not the holiday, say next year in Jerusalem, but next year may we all be lighting candles in Jerusalem. For Hanukkah, for every Shabbos of next year, may we be in Jerusalem rejoicing with the coming of the Mashiach and with the redemption of the people Israel. The beauty of light. Look at that. May we all live, and may we all rejoice in the celebration of every Jewish holiday, every holiday of any religion you profess. May you grow old, and may you grow to have a bountiful life, surrounded by family, surrounded by loved ones, in health, in prosperity, in happiness. May you grow old, and may you grow prosperous in every possible way that you can. Whoever you are, wherever you're from, whatever it is that you do, whoever it is that you support, may you grow to be 120 and add 3 days to that, because nobody wants to go on their birth date. I wish you the best. Nothing but the best. I wish light to enter you, and I wish that light to come out of you in positivity, in good deeds, in mitzvahs, in everything that is good in humanity. I did not lose hope in humanity. I did not lose my faith in humanity. I hope you yourself regain the faith in yourself, in who you are and what you do. I really, 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 really hope that you find your way and your cause, and whatever cause you support it smartly, intelligently, educatedly, that you should search for light within light, and light a bigger candle every day of your life. Shine your light. Shine your light. That's what you need to do. You need to shine your light. All it took to light all these candles was one little match. The match is gone, but the lights stay. And these lights will be gone too. They're not eternal. But it goes to show that one person can light so many lives. And this is but, a small number. I could have lit so many more candles with just that one match. You're a match. You're a candle. You're a fire. You're a light. Show it to the world. Shine your light. I love you all. Happy Hanukkah. A good week. And all my love. Bye-bye.